Okay, I'm actually the engineer here at Andover Norton, and one of the questions we get asked, apparently according to the data that our social media person managed to extract from the system, is how do I stop my Amal carburetors leaking? There's no end, a whole load of answers to that sort of question. Now, realistically, the only time I've ever known them to leak when the carburetor's in good condition and bolted correctly to the bike is the fact that when the floater's got jammed and the needle won't return back onto its seat, using the weight of the fuel to displace the float and then get it back onto the seat. Now in situations like that, it's normally either something's blocking the actual seat from going fully down. It could be the fact that when you put it up and offered it up, you didn't quite get it right in the rebuild of the carburetor. But generally, it just don't sort of happen. Apparently, people used to say when they used to get the old plastic floats, these could leak, sink, and then they'd never shut off. But then we got the StayUp floats, which tend to work a lot better, but they do take a little mark. If you use a tickler on them, keep tapping it, you end up a little mark. Some people worry about it and replace it. I got the marks on mine. I'm not too fussed, and still floating, still working. Now, some other questions we do get with the carburetor, and it is mainly about the fuel levels, and it's a good place to start. There's no point trying to tune your carburetors if you don't know where your fuel levels are, so it's always wise to check them and understand and have an idea of where that fuel level is going to be. Now, quite simply, you can do it, and I'll use any of these needles. The idea is going to be the same, but realistically, you can sort of check with it all dry and on the bench. When you come to put this together, you can just hold that, and it's no good pressing on that there on the actual float needle itself. That's not going to tell you where your fuel's going to shut off. The best way to do it is use two hands, your fingers and your thumbs. Hold your thumbs over the end of the spindle and then turn it up. This one here is sat way too high straight away, and this is just parts I've picked off the shelf. The reason being is that when it's in, we get close-ups, when it's like that, there's a good chance that go past the gasket and hit on the underside of the carburetor body, and again, if that was the case, that would give you a fuel leak. It's not unusual. I have seen quite a few of them do that, but then again, I've seen just as many have the actual correct level first time out, first time assembled. The other problem people get, and this has been mentioned about 3 times in the past month, is the actual float needles themselves. I've done a video on this and shown the differences in the float needles. Now, I've been assured by Berlin's they're all the same dimensionally, just different in material. However, when you line them all up, they're all different. Now, you've got the brass needle and you got the aluminium needle. Now, if you imagine you got your pivot piece in the middle, you've got effectively the weight of the float on one side and the weight of the needle on the other. It's like a seesaw. But then you've also got the volume of fuel that's got to make this float. Now, these StayUp floats, whereabouts the weight is in the centre of mass, I don't know, but they're actually very slightly heavier than the plastic ones. How that affects the level, not really, I don't really know. I've never really sort of taken it any further other than just to weigh them. Likewise, aluminium and a brass needle. Now, assuming these were the same dimension, the brass one is going to weigh 3 times more than the aluminium one, which means you're going to need less fuel in the float bowl to give that the capability to shut off the valve, because you've got the weight of the needle actually assisting the float. Therefore, you don't need so much fuel and create so much displacement to get that to shut off. Now, if you get it on the bike and you've checked all this and you think, I wonder where they are out of interest. Well, my opposite number Simon does a really good fuel level checking kit. I've used it, and people worry about the carburetor being at a slight angle, etc, etc. There's no need to worry. It just gives you a straight vertical measurement of where that fuel level will be, and you should be able to see where it's going to stop, give you a good idea whether it's within the parameters or not set down by Berlin and the manual. Now, it's a good thing to worry about your fuel levels, because if you get them correct, the rest of your tuning sequence should work out pretty well and be thorough and effective, and you get it done pretty quick. Now, if you do end up with a problem, then you're trying to tune carbs where you could have more fuel in one than the other, and you're trying to get them set up equally. You can end up with no end of problems. It's always a good place to start. Fuel levels, you know, it's like anything else. If you know where you're starting from and what you got, there's a pretty good chance you're going to end up in the right place, achieving the right result. Now, all the parts will be listed on the website, and I'm sure there'll be links to them at the bottom below in the description to the video. Going on to some other business, we get masses of phone calls here. Myself and Simon, we take 90 calls a day. Now, some of them calls we get is like, I can't access the web, and I need to order all the bits me forks. I've only got the sliders. What do I need? If you can at least buy a parts book, or at least use the web and have a look at our super exploded diagrams, then that's going to help you no end. You know, as I've told people in the past, it's most probably the best parts website for any motorcycle brand in the world. Even against the modern manufacturers don't do that, even less so these days, because they're producing throwaway bikes. If you look at our website and you've looked at your parts book and you're still not sure, then by all means drop us an email where we'll try and answer it. It may take a few days at the moment because it is massively busy. We don't know why, have no idea why, but at the moment we are so much busier than we've ever been for this time of year. Now, please bear that in mind if you're waiting for a response. It could take a few days, a good few days. Thank you very much.